Whether you are new or returning, welcome to Ghastly Reviews, where I, Sierra, cover horror movies of all different kinds and disturbing content. Now I'm letting you know now, y'all better hurry the fuck up, grab you a snack, smoke your broccoli, love on your kitties, remember to kiss the cat, and let's get into it. On today's episode, we will be covering the Guinea Pig series and the American Guinea Pig series. This movie series is found on tier 4 of the Disturbing Films iceberg that is listed on Reddit when you look it up. By no means am I recommending you go look up this iceberg, but I will be covering some films from the iceberg on this channel, so that way you can get a better understanding of what is on the iceberg so you don't have to go look it up. Yay, educational fuckery time. I may or may not be the same person after covering this. Let's start this off by saying these movies really don't exactly have a rewatch value. Each film has a different premise, if one at all. All are basically a showcase of amazing practical effects, but the subject matter relies a lot on brutality, and very realistic brutality at that. I had a very hard time gaining footage of the trailers for these films, so I was only able to find 2. I will include those, but I'm going to walk you through basically the premise of each film. The majority of these films are borderline pseudo-snuff and were questioned on many occasions, and one being that a serial killer was inspired by part 2 to dismember his victims by their hands and feet. Charlie Sheen also watched the second film, and I don't know if he was high on potentially coke or whatever drug he may have been doing at the point in time, but he thought it was real, so he reported it to the FBI. All allegations fell through. All of the films are practical effects. The first film, Devil's Experiment, follows a group of guys that capture a woman and torture her to death within 5 different segments: hit, kick, claw, spin, and sound. This one I consider unwatchable just for the simple fact of the lead woman, the bitch getting chopped up. The screeching and squealing noises she creates is so hyperly sexual, it makes the film uncomfortable in the wrong kind of ways. The second film, Flower of Flesh and Blood, is a little more watchable than the first one. It's still the same kind of snuff premise, but it's not as abrasive, let's just say that. A woman is stalked and kidnapped by a man in samurai attire. He drugs her and dismembers her as a work of art. The samurai himself, he is very goofy. He takes away from the seriousness of the situation within the film. I could say personally I enjoyed this one more than the first, but I still wouldn't rewatch it. It doesn't really have rewatch value. Most of them don't. Once we start diving into part 3 and after, there's a little more comedy within each film. I think the director lost some of his way when all of those crazy allegations came out and they got investigated, so he tried to soften the premise of his films in general. Part 3, The Man That Never Dies, is about a man that becomes depressed after being dumped by his girlfriend and left for his best friend. He attempts suicide only to find out he's immortal, so he decides to use his newfound ability to scare his ex-girlfriend and his friend at once. Like I said, this one's very goofy. It does not take itself seriously. There's a lot of humor throughout. If you're not used to Japanese humor, this will probably rub you the wrong way. You're going to be very put off by some of the things that are said in the film. Devil Woman Doctor is about a drag queen doctor that experiments on her patients. This one's another funny one. Out of all of the comedic ones, this one is my favorite, because they took such a strange twist on the premise that they were already going about. And you could tell that they had a lot of fun creating this film, and the guy that plays the drag queen, he does a great job. Part 5, Android of Notre Dame, was very skippable. This is when they really started kind of dipping off. Some of the movies just ended up being a flop compared to other ones. The premise is a scientist that experiments on a cyborg in search of treatment for his dying sister. Part 6, Mermaid in a Manhole. This one I enjoyed just for the creativity of the storyline, and it had a little more plot value compared to some of them. It was very strange. It was very bizarre. It's about an artist that finds a mermaid in a sewer. He takes her home only for her to start developing weeping sores and dying. He then used the sore juice, if you want to call it that, to paint her portrait before dismembering her. The unofficial Guinea Pig series tried to create a remake called Lucky Sky Diamonds. This one sucked. It was skippable as well. I didn't enjoy it at all. It's about a mentally ill woman that receives torturous brain surgery under the influence of LSD. Now we're getting into the American remake of the series, starting with Bouquet of Guts and Gore. This one is just a shitty remake of the first movie. It's basically the same premise. It's just a guy in a skull mask instead of men in suits. And it's 2 women instead of 1. Part 2 is Bloodshot. That one, it's okay, but I still wouldn't rewatch it. It was very boring. And it's in black and white until the very end of the movie. I know why they did it for artistic value, but at the same time, it was very strange. It reminded me of The Human Centipede 2, which we will cover in another review or list. Bloodshot is about a man imprisoned by a crazed doctor out to only extract chemicals from his bloodstream. Part 3, The Songs of Solomon, is about a Catholic priest that performs an exorcism on a woman to prevent the birth of the Antichrist. This is basically not even really a B movie, it's like a C shitty remake of The Exorcist. If you enjoyed The Exorcist and you like really odd, obscure films that are just not well made, you're gonna like this one. And the 4th and the final American Guinea Pig remake, Sacrifice. A man disturbed by trauma begins to self-mutilate as a journey to enlightenment. This is the only one out of the American Guinea Pig series that I feel like really captured the obscure, distorted, and disturbed kind of emotion that the first initial films were able to present. And as always, I will rate these films for you based off of my own opinion and the age rating for the film itself. Overall, throughout the entire series of both collections, there are mild to intense sexual scenes, intense frightening scenes, mild drug use, and very intense gore and violence. The fear factor of this film, I wasn't really too put off by. If anything, it wasn't exactly something worth sitting through unless you're interested in Japanese obscure horror. But some people are really upset by these 2 collections, so I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10. The special effects and gore in these films, for at least me as a gore hound, someone that loves splatter films, is a 10 out of 10. I've not seen any other movie willing to go as far as they did, and I found it very creative. Acting and plot-wise, most of them sucked. The actors knew nothing about acting or line delivery. So it was a very odd combination between the amazing effects, but the acting and plot being absolute shit. So that for me is going to get a 5 out of 10. Overall, do I recommend this collection for any average movie horror buff out there? No, if you do not have the stomach for this kind of film, do not watch it. Learn where you can. Go watch synopsises like this video right here. So that way you don't have to be traumatized. But if you like really fucked up things and you're not easily upset by brutality in films, then by all means find it. But overall for me, it's a 6 out of 10. Did the premise just suit the idea? Hell yeah. Were the effects awesome? Yes. Would I rewatch most of them? No. But would I put them on to upset dinner guests? Yes. I'll give you a little snippet of the 2 trailers that I did find for the films. Otherwise, I could not find copies to include in the video. I'm so sorry about that, but you can find them. They're out and about. Check out Unearthed Films, because that's where you're going to find most of these. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Toodaloo!
さて、いよいよ女の花びらを包み込むように大輪の花が咲きによる。
Ready. Let's give her the special medicine. Good. Now do the pants with the shear.